Michael Slager, the man you'll see on the screen, he looks totally different now. He's on trial for the killing of Walter Scott. You'll remember, was it North? I believe it's North Carolina. Walter Scott, South Carolina. Thank you. Walter Scott was running away, posing absolutely no threat to Slager. Slager shot him, I believe, 5 to 10 times. It's so many shootings, I get them mixed up. But in the back. To add insult to that was the planting of a gun on the scene. All of this was captured on video. He is now on trial. Jury selection has taken place. And what do you know? The breakdown of the jury is 11 white men and women and 1 African American or 1 Black American. Can justice be served with a jury of your peers that looks like that? All things considered. Go ahead, Anoa, Brandon, and then David.
One of the issues that was raised, this was actually just a Supreme Court case that just came down about jury selection. This is the case that just came out like a couple months ago, where about racial bias in jury selection, right? And it was I think it was a death penalty case was the case. It's a Batson. Is it Batson? I think it's Batson versus Kentucky. Or I could be getting my cases mixed up. Forgive me, everybody. It's late, and I haven't had a cite case law in a while. But no. Sorry. This case is the Supreme Court just.
Batson versus Kentucky is the older case. But go ahead.
It's the older case. It's Foster v. Chapman. I think it is, right? Okay. I think it's a new case. I'm sorry. It's late. But anyway, but one of the things they did look at was in terms of how you can have preemptive strikes of for any reason. And one of the things they looked at in the Supreme Court in this recent case was the fact that preemptive strikes are being used to just completely, remove any representation in a jury. And arguably, you say a jury of someone's peers and a jury of the defendant's peers, not necessarily the victim's peers, but at the same time, if race is not supposed to be an issue, right? Race should not be a permissible factor in determining these cases. So a jury of the peers should be a representative, pooling of the actual community itself. And the fact that I think even of the alternates, it's only like 1 or 2. There are no Hispanic people on the jury, even though there were some that were available in the pool as well. So there is some cause of concern. The defense attorney, the lead defense attorney, has said that he worries about the ability of his client to have a fair trial. They did try to get the charges dismissed recently. He did say that they were concerned they weren't going to move for a change of venue like what happened in the Rodney King trial, taking y'all way back 25-ish years or so. They moved the Rodney King trial to some white suburb way far away from where it happened because of the seeming the feeling that a white jury in that community would be sympathetic. And they were. We saw that with the result. I mean, you could argue the same thing with a white jury, predominantly white jury in this instance. We'll see what happens and how the case, if the prosecution makes their case, it maybe won't even matter, considering the damning evidence that exists. But we'll see how that turns out.
Brandon and then David, give me, let's do 30 seconds each. Anoa took all your time. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry.
But you're right. Good points, though. Go ahead, David.
At least he's going to trial.
Yeah, that's something.
At least he's going to trial. True. That's more than we get for most
people. And he's been in jail too.
Yeah, and he didn't get bail. Right. Wow.
The proliferation that tape was incredibly damning because we know that it's illegal to shoot a fleeing suspect. That's not something you can do. Good thing he's here's we're making slow progress.
That's a big hurdle. Like, yes, he's going to trial. Yes, we see the footage. Yes, we see the evidence. But this jury still has the capacity to ignore all of that. And that really is dependent on their framing of the incident. This case has a potential of being explosive only because we have the footage. And then 2, now they have a jury that could look at this and say that Slager had a reason to be fearful, or they could turn this to be into a fiasco. And that's, to me, is really, really terrifying when you consider the evidence is so overwhelming. But it's not about the video. It's about the eyes that are going to be making the decision of what they see in that video. David, get the last word on that. And then we have one more quick story, because it's this coming in tonight. There's a lot happening tonight.
I just find it it's not even shocking or amazing, but pathetic. And it goes without saying, but I find it pathetic that the justice system doesn't even try, and I'm referring right now to the jury selection that you described.
Yeah.
I mean, it's known that the justice system's not perfect. It'll never be perfect, because there's really no such thing as perfect in any facet of whatever you're talking about. But I find the lack of effort and the lack of true a true attempt, at least one black person. It just boggles the mind.
Well, I mean, I think it represents a lot of effort. Back to what Anoa was saying, it represents quite a bit of effort. You got to go through some hurdles to get 11. I mean, we're talking about South Carolina. It's not like, what's the racial makeup of the population in South Carolina? I guarantee you there are more than whatever 1/12% of the population is African American, right? So they went through a lot of effort to get the jury that they needed to possibly get an acquittal. And that goes back exactly to what Anoa was so poignantly pointing out, the different the Supreme Court case that deals with this exactly, the racial makeup.
It's 28% black in North Charleston, South Carolina, and 68% white.
Okay, so there you have it, right? So at least, if they're going to make an effort, the effort should be such that they give a makeup, a racial makeup of, and I know that's just wishful thinking at this point, right? But they should go for a racial makeup that's reflective of the actual community.